Carling, it is such a pleasure again, as always, to talk to you about the Big Break Sandals. And last night's show was full of lots of drama, lots of exciting golf. Just in a quick summary, tell me how that day was for you. You had some great shots, and you had some challenges too.
It was a really exciting day because first we got a first money challenge. So we thought, all right, finally the stakes are like to a whole new level. And I really enjoy playing under pressure like that. I think it really makes, that's what we've trained for. That's what we practice for. So when you're out there and money's on the line, it goes to that whole new level. I was in a good mood. And so going through the challenges, obviously I showed some excitement. I showed a little disappointment. And all in all, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, you came out sitting pretty and avoiding the dreaded elimination at the end of the day, so congratulations on that. But it was I like the show for a lot of reasons, and one of them was that every challenge seemed to be about distance control, and whether it was hitting to that island green or later with the chipping, I thought that was kind of cool to see how people could under pressure control the distance of their shots.
Oh yeah, you know what, that was a really good scene, because when you get nervous, sometimes that's something that really can go, because the first thing a golfer is going to do is tighten up their grip. Mm-hmm. And you tighten up your grip, sometimes you swing a little harder, and you're either going to blast it over the green or you're going to mishit it, and it's going to come up short. So I thought it was a really good test of who could handle the pressure this week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It also, I think, depending on where you were in the shot making, I think going later definitely gave people a big advantage watching the results of the other people play. What did you think about that?
I agree on that for sure, because when someone sets the bar, you know what you have to do, and you can kind of pace yourself a little bit better, like in the second challenge. And Sara had to go first. Now, I've always said that Sara is such a competitor, and when you set the bar, she wants to beat you, and she's going to beat you. Mm-hmm. But when she has to go first in challenges, or she's not quite sure what it has to be, she tends to not quite do as well, or she doesn't really know what she's fighting for. And I'm sure that's how we all feel, and it can make the challenge a lot tougher.
It's interesting, yeah. Well, obviously there was a little tiff in there, and a little drama between you and her again, and needless to say, the Golf Channel captured all the fine moments right there. How long did it take Sara to settle down and to get over her anger?
Oh, she was feeling for the whole challenge after she had messed up. And, you could tell she was angry, and she was coming back to the bench, and she just threw her stuff down, and all of a sudden she wasn't really cute Sara Brown. All of a sudden she was competitor Sara Brown. And to tell you the truth, I really was trying to make her feel better. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, it's tough to go first, which we just said it is tough to go first. Mm-hmm. Hang in there. And if you watched previous episodes, haven't we heard Sara Brown say to Kelly, a lot of people can't hit it 207 yards, especially women. They can't hit it 207 yards. Mm-hmm. Someone comes off, hey, hang in there. You did that. That's okay. Hang in there. So I was really trying to jump on the bandwagon and trying to make it feel a little better, because I know how it is to be in that position. Mm-hmm. And she kind of flipped her weight a little bit on me. I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. And, it wasn't really cool at the time, but I think she just got caught up in the moment, and everything was really fine after a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed later in the challenges where you were sitting together and chatting, there doesn't seem to be any hard feelings at that point. So sometimes people blow up, and then it just takes a few minutes to sort of cool down and get back into a zone again. But we've certainly seen a few of the professionals out there. Tiger's a good example, who has to let off steam and then seems to settle back into the zone. So maybe Sara's a little bit like that. Really strong competitors maybe are like that, or maybe it's just personality. Who knows? But we get all kinds.
We're all competitive. We're all competitors, mm-hmm. And the girl thing to do would be, act all cheery and nice and say something behind your back. But, we all grew up with the guys, played with the guys, we're on the golf course. You say things to each other, and you give them smack right back, and you get over it in 5 minutes. And we're all like that, and that's just how it is. And the Golf Channel tends to catch those moments when they can.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good TV. Well, it was interesting, though. One thing that came out later, and you would have just seen it for the first time last night, was Ryann turning to Sara and saying, take her out, or I want you to send her to elimination or whatever, something along those lines. And did that surprise you, seeing that kind of comment come out of Ryann?
I was actually really surprised. I really was, because you know what? I went on that show and I said, this is reality TV. It's not real golf. I'm just going to go have a great time, laugh with the girls, kind of just enjoy the experience. So I talked with them, kind of joked around about the challenges, and we were all friends. They were all very friendly to me. And then I'm watching the show, and then all of a sudden, every time I step up to the ball, they're making alliances to kick me off the island. I can't believe it. And, you know, I'm going to take it as a compliment because Ryann was competitive. I mean, she's won 2 futures events this year. We know she's a great golfer. So for her to say, I want her to be eliminated, I think that was just a sign of her coming out that says, you know, I think she's pretty good and I think she needs to leave. And I don't feel bad about it. And I said the same thing to her earlier in the show.
Yeah.
I said, I can't save Ryann. She's too good of a player. So it's just honesty coming out. Was I surprised at it? Yeah. I feel like every time I'm going up to the ball, the girls are going, please get this girl out of here. But, you know, we really had a good time. And I danced a little bit, and the girls seemed to laugh at it at the time, but it turns out it kind of got under their skin a little bit more than I thought it did. But I was just really enjoying the moment at the time.
Oh, yeah. No, when people are happy, they do things. When people are angry, they do things. Everybody has to be their own person. And you know, it was interesting because Ryann at the end, as she's walking off, said she took it as a compliment that people didn't save her, and that showed that she was strong. And you know, it's the same thing when it's the first thing that hit my mind when she said that. I said, aha, Carling is someone they're afraid of. So that is a compliment to you, and congratulations for that. If they were saving you all the time, you know, it'd say something too, just like Lily saved Chris. You said so in the show. I think maybe Lily thinks that Chris is less competition than some of the others she didn't want to save.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And everyone's kind of picking up on that as the show goes on. If you don't get saved, or if you do get sent, you know, you can't take it too personally because, you know, you make friends on the show. It helps in the house. It helps calm your nerves. And all in all, we're playing for our dreams. We're all out there. We practice years and years and years. And you only get this opportunity one time. So you're going to go out there and you're going to do your thing, and there's no hard feelings in the end. And, you know, when it comes to dancing and getting under people's nerves or things like that, you know, the LPGA has taken so many strides and it's getting so much more entertaining, and I feel like, you know, it could use some more dancing on the green. We got to celebrate our good shots. We got to throw our hands in the air and run around and do that circle around the green where you high-five all the fans and everything, and I'm looking forward to doing things like that, and I think there's more to come. Oh,
that's good. No, it is good. And, you know, there's, you know, the men do the fist pumps, and some of them run around and slap hands, and girls, you know, do what girls do. Hey, wiggle that butt. That's just going to bring on more TV as far as I'm concerned, more spectators to watch it, and it's all good for golf. Well, the end of the show was quite a surprise. Obviously, Ryann going home was a real surprise. Taryn struggled so badly and then came down and nailed that 80-yard shot. The eagle from Sara. I mean, it just was so exciting at the end. You got to participate early on, but then sat back and watched. What was it like?
Well, there were a lot of surprising moments. First of all, it was Sarah Brown's first elimination challenge, so we were all a little bit we were waiting to see how she was going to handle the pressure. So when she stepped up and chipped in for eagle, I knew from that moment on that she's definitely going to bring it this season. So definitely moved up the list of people that I'm worried about. And like I said on there, I said, wow, eagle, I'm scared. I'm a little scared, which was true. So good for Sarah Brown to step it up. She showed a lot of tournament experience there. And as for Taryn, I'd say earlier in the season, nobody was really threatened by her. She kind of hung out in the middle, and I would say she was kind of in that group of people that you might save one day. But all of a sudden, when she faced the final elimination and she hit that wedge shot to an inch, we thought, this sweet tea's kind of got some game. So she also took it to a whole new level, and we thought, okay, you can't really think of her as a weaker player on the show. You got to be careful because although she looks so sweet and dainty, the girl's got teeth. And so I kind of looked at Taryn in a whole new light after that. I realized that she really did bring something to the table this season, and I was looking forward to see what was more to come. And Ryann, like I said, God, she's playing in the Canadian Open at the end of the year this year. She's won 2 futures events. She's so good, and it made everybody nervous because we thought, okay, no matter how good you are, on the big break, you only get a few shots prove that, and you can't let anything slip. So I think the nerves started to go away after the 5th episode more than you were really nervous in the 1st episode, and they started to go away. And then when Ryan got eliminated, we were back to shaky hands.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day, I think everybody perked up a little bit.
Well, that's good. Well, I can't wait to see next week's show. It's every week it's getting more exciting, and seeing that there's some ex-big breakers showing up makes it even more, I don't know, nostalgic for me. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again, Caroline. Thank you so much again for this week, and you have a great one, all right?
All right. Thanks, Gail. Take
care.